Day 51, Numbers chapter 11. Now the people complained to the Lord about their troubles, and when he heard them, he became angry. Then the fire from the Lord burned among the people at the edge of the camp. The people cried out to Moses, and when he prayed to the Lord, the fire stopped burning. So that place was called Taberah, because the Lord's fire had burned among them. Some of the troublemakers among them wanted better food, and soon the Israelites began complaining. They said, "We want meat. We remember the fish we ate for free in Egypt. We also had cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic. But now we have lost our appetite. We never see anything but this manna." The manna was like small white seeds. The people would go and gather it and then grind it in hand mills or crush it between stones. After they cooked it in a pot or made cakes with it, it tasted like bread baked with olive oil. When the dew fell on the camp each night, so did the manna. Moses heard every family crying as they stood at the entrances of their tents. Then the Lord became very angry, and Moses got upset. He asked the Lord, "Why have you brought me, your servant, this trouble? What have I done wrong that you made me responsible for all of these people? I am not the father of all these people, and I didn't give birth to them. So why do you make me carry them to the land you promised to our ancestors? Must I carry them in my arms as a nurse carries a baby? Where can I get meat for all these people? They keep crying to me, 'We want meat.' I can't take care of all these people alone. It is too much for me. If you're going to continue doing this to me, then kill me now. If you care about me, put me to death, and then I won't have any more troubles." The Lord said to Moses, "Bring me 70 of Israel's elders, men that you know are leaders among the people. Bring them to the meeting tent and have them stand there with you. I will come down and speak with you there. I will take some of the spirit that is in you and I will give it to them. They will help you care for the people so that you will not have to care for them alone. Tell the people this: make yourselves holy, for tomorrow you will eat meat." You cried to the Lord, "We want meat. We were better off in Egypt." So now the Lord will give you meat to eat. You will eat it not just for 1, 2, 5, 10, or even 20 days, but you will eat that meat for a whole month. You will eat it until it comes out your nose, and you will grow to hate it. This is because you have rejected the Lord who is with you. You have cried to him, saying, "Why did we ever leave Egypt?" Moses said, "Lord, here are 600,000 people standing around me, and you say, I will give them enough meat to eat for a month? If we killed all the flocks and herds, that would not be enough. If we caught all the fish in the sea, that would not be enough." But the Lord said to Moses, "Do you think I'm weak? Now you will see if I can do what I say." So Moses went out to the people and told them what the Lord had said. He gathered 70 of the elders together and had them stand around the tent. Then the Lord came down in the cloud and spoke to Moses, and the Lord took some of the spirit of Moses that Moses had and gave it to the 70 leaders. With the spirit in them, they prophesied, but just that one time. 2 men named Eldad and Medad were also listed as leaders, but they did not go to the tent. They stayed in the camp. But the Spirit was also given to them, and they prophesied in the camp. A young man ran to Moses and said, "Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp." Joshua, son of Nun, said, "Moses, my master, stop them." Ever since he was a young boy, Joshua had been Moses' assistant. But Moses answered, "Are you jealous for me? I wish all the Lord's people could prophesy. I wish the Lord will give his spirit to all of them." Then Moses and the leaders of Israel went back to the camp. The Lord sent a strong wind from the sea, and it blew quail into the area all round the camp. The quail were about 3 feet deep on the ground, and they were quail a day's walk in any direction. The people went out and gathered the quail all that day, that night, and the next day. Everyone gathered at least 60 bushels. I didn't know they came in bushels, and they spread them around the camp. But the Lord became very angry and gave the people a terrible sickness that came while the meat was still in their mouths. So the people named that place Kibroth Hattaavah, because they were buried by those who wanted other food. From Kibroth Hattaavah, the people went to stay at Hazeroth. Numbers chapter 12. Miriam and Aaron began to talk against Moses because of his Cushite wife. He had married a Cushite. That's how come it's his wife. They said, "Is Moses the only one the Lord speaks through? Doesn't he also speak through us?" And the Lord heard this. Now Moses was very humble. He was the least proud person on earth. So the Lord suddenly spoke to Moses, Aaron, and Miriam and said, "All three of you come to the meeting tent." So they went. The Lord came down in a pillar of cloud and stood at the entrance of the tent. He called to Aaron and Miriam as they both came near. He said, "Listen to my words. When prophets are among you, I, the Lord, will show myself to them in visions. I will speak to them in dreams. But this is not true with my servant Moses. I trust him to lead all my people. I speak face to face with him, clearly, not with hidden meanings. He has even seen the form of the Lord. You should be afraid to speak against my servant Moses." The Lord was very angry with them, and he left. And the cloud lifted from the tent, and Aaron turned towards Miriam. She was as white as snow. She had a skin disease. Aaron said to Moses, "Please, Master, forgive us for our foolish sin. Don't let her be like a baby who is born dead." Sometimes a baby is born with half of its flesh eaten away. Ooh. So Moses cried out to the Lord, "God, please heal her." The Lord answered Moses, "If her father had spit in her face, she would have been shamed for 7 days. So put her outside the camp for 7 days. After that, she may come back." So Miriam was put outside the camp for 7 days, and the people did not move until she came back. After that, the people left Hazeroth and camped on the desert of Paran.
Mark chapter 8. About this time, another large crowd had gathered, and the people ran out of food again. Jesus called his disciples and told them, "I feel sorry for these people. They've been here with me for 3 days, and they have nothing left to eat. If I send them home hungry, they will faint along the way, for some of them have come a long distance." His disciples replied, "How are we supposed to find enough food to feed them out here in the wilderness?" Jesus asked, "How much bread do you have?" 7 loaves, they replied. So Jesus told all the people to sit down on the ground. Then he took the 7 loaves, thanked God for them, and broke them into pieces. He gave them to his disciples, who distributed the bread to the crowd. A few small fish were found too, so Jesus also blessed these and told the disciples to distribute them. They ate as much as they wanted. Afterward, the disciples picked up 7 large baskets of leftover food. There were about 4,000 men in the crowd that day, and Jesus sent them home after they had eaten. Immediately after this, he got into a boat with his disciples and crossed over to the region of Dalmanutha. When the Pharisees heard that Jesus had arrived, they came and started to argue with him. Testing him, they demanded that he show them a miraculous sign from heaven to prove his authority. When he heard this, he sighed deeply in his spirit, and he said, "Why do these people keep demanding a miraculous sign? I tell you the truth, I will not give this generation any such sign." So he got back into the boat and left them, and he crossed to the other side of the lake. But the disciples had forgotten to bring any food. They had only 1 loaf of bread with them in the boat, As they were crossing the lake, Jesus warned them, "Watch out, beware of the yeast of the Pharisees and of Herod." At this they began to argue with each other because they hadn't brought any bread. Jesus knew what they were saying, so he said, "Why are you arguing about having no bread? Don't you know or understand even yet? Are your hearts too hard to take it in? You have eyes, can't you see? You have ears, can't you hear? Don't you remember anything at all? When I fed the 5,000 with 5 loaves of bread, how many baskets of leftovers did you pick up afterward?" 12, they said. "And when I fed the 4,000 with 7 loaves, how many large baskets of leftovers did you pick up?" 7, they said. "Don't you understand yet?" he asked them. When they arrived at Bethsaida, some people brought a blind man to Jesus, and they begged him to touch the man and heal him. Jesus took the blind man by the hand and led him out of the village. Then, spitting on the man's eyes, he laid his hands on him and asked, "Can you see anything now?" The man looked around. "Yes," he said, "I see people, but I can't see them very clearly. They look like trees walking around." Then Jesus placed his hands on the man's eyes again, and his eyes were opened. His sight was completely restored, and he could see everything clearly. Jesus sent him away, saying, "Don't go back into the village on your way home." Jesus and his disciples left Galilee and went up to the villages near Caesarea Philippi. As they were walking along, he asked them, Who do people say I am?" "Well," they replied, "some say John the Baptist, some say Elijah, and others say you are one of the other prophets." Then he asked them, "But who do you say I am?" Peter replied, "You are the Messiah." But Jesus warned them not to tell anyone about him. Then Jesus began to tell them that the Son of Man must suffer many terrible things and be rejected by the elders, the leading priests, and the teachers of religious law. He would be killed, but 3 days later he would rise from the dead. And he talked about this openly with the disciples. Peter took him aside and began to reprimand him for saying such things. Jesus turned around and looked at his disciples, then reprimanded Peter. "Get away from me, Satan," he said. "You are seeing things merely from a human point of view, not from God's." Then, calling the crowd to join his disciples, he said, "If any of you wants to be my follower, you must give up your own way, take up your cross and follow me. If you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake and for the sake of the good news, you will save it. And what do you benefit if you gain the whole world but lose your own soul? Is anything worth more than your soul? If anyone is ashamed of me and my message in these adulterous and sinful days, the Son of Man will be ashamed of that person when he returns in the glory of his Father with the holy angels." And that's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.